As time moves beyond 2025 and reflection comes to an end, we arrive at a brand new point of reference. This moment is not about looking back to summarize, but about looking forward to answer the future. ARK is entering a new stretch of its journey. Over the past year, we used time to prove one thing. Consensus is not something you shout into existence. Order is not something you package or decorate. They must operate in the real world. They must withstand doubt, endure pressure, and hold up over time. And now, with consensus firmly established, with the system already in motion, a new question comes into focus. Where will ARK sail next? In 2025, what ARK completed was not an expansion, but a validation. A validation of whether a system can continue to operate without heroes. A validation of whether a group of people would choose the long term even when there is no applause. We did not trade speed for trust. We did not trade narratives for emotions. Instead, we chose a longer path, to write the rules clearly, to hand over authority, and to place the system in the hands of time. This phase was not just about bringing everyone in, but about confirming one thing, that those who stayed are the ones who truly understand the system. This is ARK's first phase, and it is the starting point of everything that comes next. As we enter 2026, ARK is undergoing a fundamental transformation. It is no longer just a system for storing assets and waiting for price movements. Starting this year, ARK officially enters the stage of value creation and accumulation. It begins to evolve into a system that continuously generates income and steadily amplifies ARK's intrinsic value. First, we must acknowledge a reality. Not everyone understands DeFi. Complex financial structures and high operational barriers are not a natural entry point for most people. But that does not mean most people lack value. On the contrary, almost everyone possesses experience, judgment, time, insight, and execution ability. The problem was that in the past, most systems could not recognize these forms of value, let alone convert them into assets. Within ARK's AI ecosystem, this changes completely. AI is no longer just a passive tool that executes instructions. It becomes a mechanism that collaborates with humans and participates in value distribution. You can use AI to solve concrete problems. You can train AI to understand your judgment and experience. You can work alongside AI to complete tasks, deliver services, and produce results. Your actions are recognized by the system. Your contributions are recorded by the structure. Your output is quantified, settled, and fed back into ARK value framework. At this stage, ARK is no longer merely a token to be held passively. It becomes a carrier of value accumulation. Every meaningful use, every real contribution, every collaboration between AI and humans injects new intrinsic value into ARK. Value will no longer belong only to a small group of technical elites. It will belong to everyone who participates in production and delivers results. This is not a story about automation replacing humans, nor is it a story about AI taking jobs away. It is the first time a system truly understands, absorbs, and continuously transforms human value into wealth. From 2026 onward, ARK is no longer just about holding. It offers you a system designed to create wealth, continuously. When AI begins to generate value continuously, the financial system can no longer remain the same. If finance is merely a make money and exit channel, then it is destined to exist only in cycles, never able to become true infrastructure. A real financial system does not exist to create excitement. It exists to absorb value, manage risk, and allow resources to flow steadily and sustainably within a system. This is exactly what ARK aims to accomplish at this stage. In its third phase, ARK's DeFi tools are no longer designed around high returns. Instead, they return to a far more fundamental question: how should the value that has already been created be used? In ARK's design, DeFi is no longer complex, fragmented, or built only for a small group of specialists. It is broken down and reassembled into a set of financial tools that anyone can understand and is willing to use. You can manage assets within the system, adjust allocations, and balance risk. You can borrow, keeping assets liquid instead of being forced to sell. You can also bring value into real life for payments, consumption, or long-term planning. When assets can be borrowed, used, and spent, finance finally steps out of the screen. It is no longer just a string of numbers. It begins to participate in the real-world flow of life. And at that moment, the so-called exit narrative starts to lose its meaning, because value no longer needs to escape the system in order to be realized. Within the system itself, it completes circulation, usage, and redistribution. When a system can absorb production, manage risk, support circulation, and connect to real life, it is no longer merely a financial product. It begins to become a financial system capable of operating long-term. And this is the foundational structure ARK is building for the future beyond 2026. ARK's DeFi application layer is not designed to push you out of the system, but to make you willing to stay within it and live within it for the long term. Ultimate value layer of ARK. ARK's ultimate value carrying layer. When value has already been created, when a financial system is able to absorb it, use it, and operate over the long term, human society is entering a stage where AI is deeply involved. At this stage, the question is no longer, can AI be used? The real questions are, how is AI priced? How is it settled? How is it constrained? And how is it trusted? 1. Why must there be an AI 402 protocol? In today's internet world, the original meaning of HTTP 402 is simple. Payment required. Payment is needed to continue service. But in reality, this status code was never truly implemented. Because in the past, the world did not require machine-to-machine value settlement. But an AI-driven society is different. In the era ahead, calling models, using compute power, and collaborating to complete tasks will no longer be occasional actions. They will be high-frequency, automated, and continuous behaviors. If every AI action must rely on centralized platforms for billing, then so-called AI autonomy is nothing more than an illusion. The AI 402 protocol was created to solve exactly this problem. At its core, it is not simply about payment. It is about ensuring that every AI action becomes a value event that is verifiable, settlable, and accountable. 2. What does the 402 protocol do? Within the AI 402 protocol, when AI calls a service, it pays a cost. When AI provides a service, it earns revenue. When AI collaborates with AI, revenue is automatically shared. When humans collaborate with AI, rewards are shared. There is no such thing as free, unlimited calls, and no such thing as unclear pricing. Every request has a cost, every output has value, every collaboration leaves a record. This is not about restricting AI. It is about bringing AI into the economic system. Because only participants that are priced, settled, and governed can truly become part of a social structure. 3. Why does ARK need an AI-native public blockchain? At this point, a more practical question emerges. Where should all of these settlements, collaborations, and high-frequency value activities actually take place? Most existing blockchains are still designed for human-centric finance. Their transaction models, gas mechanisms, and identity systems are not built to support the scale and frequency required by an AI-driven society. What an AI society truly needs is an AI-native public blockchain. Native support for AI agent identities. Native support for micropayments and instant settlement. Native support for model call billing. Native support for collaborative revenue sharing. Native support for machine-to-machine trust. This is not about tweaking parameters or upgrading performance. It is about rewriting the foundational logic from the ground up. 4. What is ARK's value within this chain? At this point, ARK's role becomes truly clear. ARK is not just a governance token, and it is not merely a financial instrument. Within the AI native public chain and the 402 protocol, ARK serves as the value benchmark of the entire system. It fulfills 4 irreplaceable roles. First, ARK is the settlement unit for AI actions. AI calls, collaborations, and service revenues all require a decentralized value carrier that cannot be arbitrarily issued. Second, ARK is the collateral of system trust. For an AI agent to gain higher calling permissions and stronger trust levels, ARK is required as its credit foundation. Third, ARK is the regulator of resource allocation. Compute power, models, and data access are automatically allocated by the market through the flow of ARK. Fourth, ARK is the anchor of order. When rules conflict, when governance decisions must be made, ARK becomes the carrier of consensus. Put simply, without ARK, AI remains just a tool. With ARK, AI becomes an economic participant. ARK is not trying to build a faster chain, and it is not trying to manufacture a new narrative. What ARK is doing is something far more difficult and far more enduring, building an economic order that can operate over the long term for an AI-driven society. Not for competition, but for carrying value. When AI truly becomes part of society, order must come first. And ARK is laying the foundation for that era in advance. The ultimate value of ARK is not measured by how much it rises in price, but by this single question. When the AI society arrives, is ARK the one system that is already prepared? The one set of rules ready to operate from day one? This is ARK's course. It is not a path designed to chase short-term outcomes, but a structure laid in advance for the world that is coming. We began with modules, not to showcase technical skill, but to ensure one thing first, that the system could run stably. Before chaos, we chose order. Before narratives, we chose structure. When the modules began to operate on their own, consensus no longer relied on slogans. It was written into rules, embedded into processes, and reflected in every verifiable execution. That was ARK's first step, consensus. When consensus stands firm, production becomes possible. The emergence of the AI ecosystem was never about replacing people, but about allowing human experience, judgment, and action to be truly absorbed by a system for the first time. From that moment on, value no longer simply waited, it began to be continuously created. That was ARK's second step, production. When value is produced, the financial system must evolve. DeFi is no longer a make money and leave channel. It becomes infrastructure for managing, circulating, and using value. When assets can be borrowed, used, and spent, wealth truly enters everyday life. That was ARK's third step, wealth. And when AI and humans participate together in society, a deeper question emerges. Who settles value? Who defines identity? Who maintains trust? These are responsibilities no centralized system can carry for the long term. So ARK chose its fourth step, a public chain born for an AI society. A rule system where machines, models, and people can collaborate autonomously, settle autonomously, and maintain order autonomously. This is not expansion, it is the birth of sovereignty. From modular systems to the AI ecosystem to DeFi tools, and finally to an AI native public chain. From consensus to production to wealth, and ultimately to sovereignty. ARK never rushes, because it knows it is not chasing the times. It is building order for the next era in advance. And now, as you see all of this, as you reflect on every step you've walked, you may realize the future is no longer distant. It is happening, and you are already inside it. ARK is not a temporary opportunity. It is a course, one that asks only this: are you willing to sail forward with the future?